Personal notice, danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Greetings, mystery lover. Time for your dead time story. That's right, dead time. This Let George Do It adventure has so many bodies in it you'd think the Black Plague hit town. It's called Angel's Grotto, and I think you'll find it a heavenly tale. As usual, it's all about George Valentine and his faithful companion, Brooksy. Companion? Oh, well, I better not tell you any more, as it might spoil the suspense, and that we cannot do.
Dear Mr. Valentine, you are fired. I know that's a clumsy way to put it, but I've been a nurse too many years to learn parlor diplomacy. Besides, you've been here at the Grotto farmhouse for almost a day now, and you haven't found anything. Not a single thing. Not that you should have. Perhaps I was just hysterical this morning when I called you out here. But now even the police seem to agree, don't they? Mr. Moraga's death last evening was an accident. Yes, an accident. And so much as I appreciate your coming to help, why should you stay on? Sincerely, Emily Flood.
You are listening to Let George Do It. Our adventure will continue in just a moment. Now back to Let George Do It and George Valentine.
Oh, Miss Flood. Miss Flood.
Yes? Oh, Mr. Valentine.
Oh, here you are. We've been looking all over.
Did you get my note?
Yes, back at the house, but we wanted to...
I don't like it back there. I came
Look,
out
Miss
to...
Flood, I was a little surprised. After all, I've barely even had a chance to talk to you since we got here.
You see, there's very little factual evidence of any kind.
Here. Did you check here? There might have been fingerprints on the handrail that might show...
No, we checked all that. Best fingerprint man in the state found nothing to prove anything, not even on the wheelchair. No sign of a struggle.
He hated that wheelchair. Imagine a man only 45 who usually couldn't sit still for a minute, having to spend 6 months in that thing. It was from a sailing accident. The bone wouldn't heal.
Uh-huh.
Most of the nurses were scared to death of him. But he liked me, because I wasn't good-looking and I didn't have an eye on his purse. And he had told me about this grotto.
The Angel's Grotto. It's beautiful, isn't it? All that moss and the ferns.
Yes. I saw it first about this same time yesterday. I just brought him out from the train, and he had to come here first thing, even before supper.
Did you try to find the angel like we did?
Oh, it's just a legend. Indians who used to work at the mission across the ranch. An angel of stone, they say. Crossed by the waterfall, I guess.
Yeah. Only it's like all those things, huh? The face in clouds, the mountain shaped like a man's head. You can never really see it.
Angel of death. He used to come out here and just sit when he was a little boy, you know. It was all so different then, he said. A farm, I mean. Just a place in the woods. And an exciting, scary grotto for boys to tell stories about and dare each other to come close to the edge. They were lovely boys, I guess. Herman hadn't met the bottle and the blondes yet. And that whiny stepbrother who still lives here was just like the real brothers.
And John hadn't taken up sailing or broken hips, or even gone out to the city to build his steel mills to become the richest man in the state.
Why?
All been murdered.
Mr. Valentine.
All right, lady, we're sorry. We know you're upset. Anyway, there aren't any facts. But last night at supper, well, those guys aren't boys anymore, are they?
He hated his family. He said this was the last time he'd ever come back.
You want the rest of it? If you're going to fire me, you want my report, why I say murder?
Go on.
Well, you were there. You and he and the boys last night, remember? You're all sitting around the table?
No, I don't want to talk business tonight. I don't want to talk anything. I'm tired. Emily, have you done my unpacking yet?
Well, I thought as soon as supper is over, while you sit outside for a while.
Sure, your nurse will take care of things, John. Here, have another glass of wine. It's special.
No, I said.
Well, the farm isn't business. I only waited till you came, John, to talk about buying a new tractor instead of riding.
Oh, for the love
Leave
of
him alone, Jake. He's tired. Can't you hear what he
Well, I
said?
got a setter coming around tonight. Got to get out there, help her with the pups. I only thought if he could spare $1,000 or so.
Leave him alone. Jake, you'll just never understand us businessmen.
Well, farm's a farm. You can't operate
Stop
on
it. Both of you, stop it. I came here for a one-day visit, that's all. That day starts tomorrow.
Oh, sure, Johnny, sure, we understand. I don't come out to the old place often myself, but a little reunion is different, huh?
No. I wish I'd stayed in Florida.
Don't blame you. All those classy nurses.
Please, Mr. Moraga.
Well, Johnny, I know the farm isn't very important anymore to you, but all I wanted to say was...
Oh, get out to your barn. Go be a midwife, whatever it is. Now, you nurse, see if you can't give the cook out there a hand with the dishes. I notice Mary's not as speedy as she used to be, Jake.
Stay where you are, Emily. Herman, for your information, I'm sick and tired of the steel business, too.
Huh?
You heard me, Mr. Vice President in charge of gas and wind?
Oh,
yes. Get everybody out. Leave us brothers alone. Have some wine. You don't want to talk business, not old Herman. Herman, the diplomatic sponge. Well, I wrote you I'm going to retire, didn't I? In the prime of life, and why not? And that means for my family, too. I'm here to cut all strings at once. Lazy relative steel mills, old family homesteads, the works. I'm sick and tired of supporting a worthless bunch.
Please, don't. You're tired. You'll upset yourself. You said everything could wait till tomorrow. Everything you have to say to them.
Yes. All right. I'm sorry, Emily. You two fellas. Wheelchair doesn't make a guy like me very friendly, but I mean it. I'm moving to Florida for good. Only, we'll talk tomorrow, huh?
Sure, Johnny, sure. We understand.
No, you don't. You're going to work for a living, Herman. Well, what's the matter with you, Jake?
Huh?
Earn your own tractor. Me? I'm tougher than all of you, I guess. Well, what's the matter? Want to murder me or something? Well, come on, say something.
Want to murder me or something? And then, Miss Flood, you brought John Moraga out in his wheelchair to sit in the evening air, and you went back to do the unpacking and clean up the dishes for Mary, the cook, who was out helping Jake. Brother Herman, he went to his room, so the testimony says, where he drank that wine all by himself. Jake, he came out and smoked a cigarette for a while with the impatient invalid, then went to the barn and was busy for some time delivering a litter of puppies.
Your testimony is very complete, Mr. Valentine.
So what? So 10 o'clock, you came out to bring Mr. Moraga in for the night, and he was missing. Because around 9 o'clock, according to police reports, the doctors, his wheelchair parked here overlooking the grotto where you left him got a little bit too close to the edge.
Look out, George! Oh. But there wasn't any evidence. You couldn't find anything.
No evidence to show whether the brakes just slipped and the wheelchair rolled over, or whether Mr. Moraga was pushed off the edge. 200 feet down to the rocks.
All those hatreds and everything, even motives. But everybody's story seemed to check.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing so far can be proved.
Mr. Valentine, you kicked that rock just now to see how I would react.
Maybe.
Well, I think you should understand there won't ever be any evidence. His death was an accident. I believe that now. So get out. Get out. Please, go away.
Johnny couldn't have been too surprised, Mr. Valentine. Said he saw the angel clear as death. Omen, I guess you'd call it. We smoked a cigarette together down there, half hour before his death.
Surprised at what, Jake?
Huh? Well, a brake slipped on his chair, don't you think? You figure he was unconscious when it happened.
We don't even know that. Look, we're leaving. I only asked to see...
His own fault in one way. Had a fixation on that place, he did. Ought to be the devil's grotto, I always claimed. Or maybe we could blast the marble and make it quarry.
You see me, Mr. Valentine?
Oh, yes, Mr. Moraga. Look, Jake, do you mind...
Sure, Mr. Valentine, sure. Got to see about...
Mr. Moraga, testimony showed that last night your brother called you vice president in charge...
In charge of gas and wind. Yeah. Old Johnny was the only one had any brains or...
Are you part owner of the Moraga Steel Mills, or just a paid employee?
You mean am I just the boss's brother? Yeah. Yes, if you like.
Uh-huh. And now that he's dead,
Weren't you leaving, Mr. Valentine? Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Jake and I, we appreciate what you've done. But also we're tired of everybody looking cross-eyed at the guys who benefit. I should have told that nurse she was being officious to get you up here in the first place.
She was badly upset.
Well, so am I. Johnny was my brother. These little nurses get more conscientious the richer the patient is.
Oh, how dare you!
Mary, listen to me.
What in the
I
name...
will not, and I won't leave here until
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you, but you can't talk like that to me.
I'll talk any way I please. I've been here 15 years. I'll call you all the names I
Stop
can.
it, I said stop it.
All right, Nursey, now cut it out. Cut it out. What'd she do to you, Mary?
Huh? What'd she do?
Don't look at me that
Miss
way.
Flood?
Hey, easy, please.
Huh. Miss Flood. Know what she was up to, Mr. Moraga? She was firing me. Yes, she fired me.
You what? Now, look here, Miss Flood. You've been butting
Take it
in
easy,
and
will you? Here, Emily, you're all right.
It was the way she looked. The way she... I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't mean
You
to...
see, Mr. Moraga, I happened to overhear this young lady and a policeman
Please,
talking.
no.
You just found out the nurse is really a wife, eh, Mary?
What's that, George?
Just guessing. But it would explain why she could try to fire you, Mary. Why you laugh at the word miss. Not to mention some things John Moraga said last night. Or why just a nurse should be so curious and hire me
You
and
mean
try...
this mousy little flat-heeled...
Yes. We were married a week ago in Florida. I did tell the police, Mr. Valentine. I wanted to tell you, but I wanted to wait until... Oh, just because I'm his nurse and he was wealthy. Just because... Stop looking at me like that.
Nobody's looking any way they shouldn't.
I wondered what his big announcement today was going to be. What made that hot-headed sucker want to sell his business, cut us off, go gallivanting off?
Get out of here! Every one of you! This is my house now. Get out!
So you married a week and now he's dead.
Yes, he's dead. He's dead. Don't look that way. Can't you understand? I loved him, and he loved me.
Don't give me that
Oh,
hug.
I wish I were dead, too. Leave me alone, or I will be! I will be!
Yes. A good act.
Good act, Mr. Moraga? Are you changing your mind? I thought you were so sure your brother's death was an accident.
You're listening to Let George Do It. Our adventure will continue in just a moment.
And now back to George Valentine. Angel's Grotto, a place of great beauty, a place where a man fell 200 feet to his death on the rocks below. A man in a wheelchair sitting alone in the moonlight. But, according to the police, that death was an accident. There's no further reason for you to stay around. Still, if your name is George Valentine, well, what can you do except stall for time, pretend you can't start your car?
Say, look, Jake, is there some rope around here? I may need it when the mechanic comes to give me a tow.
Yeah, in the shed over there. Help yourself.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Get out of the way. Good idea. So that fool Emily won't hang herself. Ha! There's a good one.
Come on, Brooksy. Let the rest of them think we've gone. You realize how short our time is?
You mean what he just said about Emily? George, I want to go back in and talk to her.
No, Brooksy, we got to find evidence before somebody else gets murdered. Yeah, these are the tracks, all right, Brooksy. And here's where the wheelchair stood.
George, you and the police went over it inch by inch.
Jake gave me an idea. He was wondering earlier if John Moraga was conscious when he fell, remember?
Yes.
Okay, now look, I'm John Moraga. I'm in a wheelchair, see, and I'm sitting here. I'm a strong guy.
Strong? George, John had been laid up for 6 months.
Well, that's not long enough to break down a dynamo like him. The point is, when he was sitting here, it would have been pretty hard to take him by surprise.
You mean somebody slugged him first?
I don't know. There's no sign of a struggle. Police thought he might have fallen asleep.
George, suppose he'd been drugged.
Huh?
I mean, remember that wine last night at supper?
Oh, yeah, I thought of that. But it's like everything else. Nothing left to show. Nothing left but the tracks of the two wheels here. And hey, Brooksy, look. They just go in practically a dead straight line all the way out to the edge and over. Okay, Brooksy, throw me that rope there.
Oh, George,
It's all right now. It's all right. This tree will hold me.
George.
Just take it easy, will you? There we are. This is one thing we didn't check.
But they combed every rock down below there.
When I kicked that rock loose this afternoon, remember what happened? It bounced. Okay, I'll find out what happened last night, and I won't bounce either. I hope. Hey, Brooksy, I can see the angel from down here. Yeah, it really does look like one, you know. Across by the...
George, your rope's twisting.
I'm all right. There's some stuff to hang on to here. Angel of death, huh?
I can't even see you anymore.
Brooksy.
What'd you say, George?
Hey, not so loud, will you? I was just looking down before. It's a watch.
What?
No. Piece of watch chain. Sure. He did hit here before he dropped to the rocks. I thought so. The way the cliff curves out, it's...
Don't go any farther. What if he did lose part of his watch chain? It doesn't tell you anything
Oh, doesn't it? Hooked on a little twig, some scrub trees here growing in a crevice. Well, you know, it doesn't have any bark. Yeah, that's right. 2 places here, no bark. I'll tell better in the daylight. But, Brooksy, there are kick marks, too. He grabbed here as he fell. Must have hung on for some time, several minutes maybe, before his strength gave out.
Somebody's coming, George.
Mayday. Hey, I called you, but I didn't hear you answer it.
Well, I went to see George. Listen.
Listen to what?
Oh, it's gone now.
Okay, come on. Get this rope out of sight. Here, duck back here. In the bushes. That's better.
George, I hate high places. You're crazy.
But I learned something, Brooksy. The fact he clung there proves John Moraga was conscious. He couldn't have grabbed on there unless he was perfectly all right when he went over.
He wasn't slugged, doped, anything.
Just pushed.
But those straight line tracks...
Well, I can think of a person he might have trusted. Never guess what was going to happen until the last minute.
Oh, George, any of them could have come down here without being seen. His shouts when he was hanging there wouldn't have been heard.
Oh, Brooksy, look, stop evading it. You know who I'm talking about. All those tears don't hide her motive.
George, I just can't believe that a girl would...
Yeah. You see what I see? Little Emily.
George, she's crying. That's what I heard before.
Yeah, walking like she didn't know where she was.
George, she wished she were dead, too. She was hysterical, but she said
I'm like Jake. I didn't take it seriously.
But she's going where we were. George, grab her.
No,
She's gonna...
stop.
Emily?
Oh, you startled me.
Oh? I didn't mean to.
It's Herman.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
Mr. Moraga.
What are you doing down here, anyway?
You know, don't you? Why do you ask?
Oh, well, I didn't believe a good-looking girl like you with her head on her shoulders would seriously think of carrying out a threat
You
like...
think I'm ugly. You said so. A stupid, flat-heeled nurse.
Oh, well, really, it isn't anything...
No, stay where you are. I don't think there's room for both of us here, Mr. Moraga.
All right. All right.
I loved your brother. I loved John. I'm 35. I'm not pretty. I know what I am. But he loved me, too.
Now.
Please don't touch me. Don't come any closer.
Oh, it's all right. I know how you feel. It was an accident.
Leave me alone.
Well, just an accident, that's all.
I told you, don't touch me.
Well...
You big fat fool!
Miss Flood!
You walked right into it, didn't you?
Look out, my arm.
I've handled patients 10 times as tough as you are.
My arm. Look out, the edge is
Believe
right.
what I said, didn't you? Believed I'd come down here and be thinking of jumping when it's you who's going to go.
Come on, Dusty, step on it. He's the one who's liable to be killed.
I'll kill you!
Get back here, I said, get back!
Let go of me!
Okay, sister!
Hey, what happened?
What is it?
All right. Take it easy, all of you.
Good Lord, what's the matter with
She's
her?
all right, George. Let go. Leave me alone.
She would have killed me. She was trying to push me.
I know. We saw
We
it
thought
all.
it was going to be the other way around.
Oh?
It never occurred to me. She has the same motive for getting rid of you, Mr. Moraga. You're the only real brother. You're in her way, too.
Herman, for the love of Pete, what the crazy little fool...
I thought that she was...
Shove me. What she
All
tried
right,
to
will you
do.
please
tried to
stop
shove-
it? Yeah, that's right. We prevented a murder. Now I can prove it. Murder number 2.
Hey, did you find out something?
Mr.
Lady,
Valentine.
will you stop crying for 1 minute, please? I didn't say you killed your husband. You didn't kill John Moraga.
George.
Emily, the tragedy we prevented tonight was you killing for vengeance because you thought the murder would never be solved.
Herman did it. I was sure.
The police couldn't find any clues for you, but you were like I was. You knew it had to be murder, and so you tricked Herman into following you down here. The only trouble was when you tried to take the law in your own hands, you picked the wrong person.
What?
Yeah, that's right. He didn't do it. He's demonstrated that pretty well right now, hasn't he? Only, what's your name, Cook? Mary?
Oh,
Did you ever see the angel?
did I... What?
Come on, the angel on the rocks. You've lived around here 15 years, you said. You've heard the legend.
Oh, that. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's no angel in the rocks, Valentine. That's just an old...
Yes, there is. Because I saw it. And John Moraga said he saw it, too.
Oh, no. No, he
After
didn't.
you left
He's...
him down here, Emily, he supposedly said it while smoking a cigarette. With you, Jake.
Yeah, wait a minute. I never said anything.
Oh, yes, you did.
I remember it, George.
And that was your mistake. Because, Buster, that angel turns out to be a real angel of death. You can't see that rock formation from any place except halfway down a straight cliff. No wonder the Indians had a legend. So when could John possibly have seen it except when he was climbing down there after he'd been shoved, clinging there, hanging there? Why did John scream out that he saw the angel? Was he pleading with you to help him? And did you just stand there and laugh at him, Jake?
No, you're crazy. I'm just a farmer.
Sure, you're a big, strong guy. And that's why the tracks of the wheelchair were nice and straight, Brooksy. A man strong enough could just tip it back, load and all, and give it a roll.
You listen to me. I was up with that setter of mine. I was clean out in the barn. Mary helped me.
Mary, do you know what the penalty is for providing a false alibi in a murder case?
No, I don't even know what you're
You
talking...
better tell me fast, lady, how many of those puppies you delivered?
Mr. Valentine.
How much
you
of that
think-
2 hours Jake really spent with you in that barn?
Hey, get her. She's running.
No, we'll get her all right.
I don't believe anything that dumb old thing...
That's all, Jake!
Back to the conclusion of our Let George Do It adventure in just a moment.
Angel's Grotto. And the angel really did solve it.
Well, Brooksy, the weak need accomplice didn't help Jake much.
But Mary wasn't really mixed up in
But she started the ball rolling. Nothing else he could do but confess after that. I suppose she wanted to keep the farm as much as he did. And Moraga was going to take it away, sell everything.
And to think it all started with our being fired. Emily tried to do it the right way, George. She hired you to find evidence of what she thought had happened.
And by woman's intuition. So, just on the basis of that, she tries to play angel of destruction, of vengeance.
It was crazy and wrong. But she loved John Moraga. Those tears were all true. She told us how much she loved him. First and only love of her life. I could tell. And he loved her just as much.
I know. Love, love, love. Hey, how come you're such an authority on the subject, Brooksy?
With you around, I'll be darned if I know.
You have just heard Angel's Grotto, another Let George Do It adventure. Robert Bailey was starred as George Valentine, with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. David Victor and Jackson Gillis wrote the story, with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Now this is yours truly inviting you to another visit with Valentine, when you will again hear what happens when you let George do it.